Doing agriculture successfully has a very good correspondence with how much research is pumped into that. In Uganda, there is always a question of the bridges between agriculture and research institutions. Today, we try to fill in the gaps and find out what is being done to make that happen. Doctor, it's good to have you on the show, Money and Markets, in fact for the first time. Now, to Ugandan who's hearing you for the first time, what should they expect or take within their minds as the responsibilities of NARO?
Of course, thank you very much for the question. And normally when we talk about that, I think it's between part and packet. You're talking about the National Agriculture Organization, which is one of the ages and the use of agriculture, animal industry and fisheries. And this is an organization which was actually created by Secretary Parliament through the National Agriculture Act 2005, and our core mandate was supposed to do the coordination and at the same time to provide oversight and implementation of research agenda in all aspects on crops, livestock, fisheries, and forestry. But then the most important aspect is how do we come up with these research kind of products? Our research products are are demand-led. We look at a target kind of clientele, and of course they say, what do they really want? They must cause a demand, and then the most important thing is to respond to the areas of the concern. Now, one thing that you're coming up at sector level, we're looking at how best can increase production and productivity, how best can we add value, how best can we increase the market competitiveness actually of this kind of products. So look at profit-driven, and of course at the end of the day, you want to derive as much as possible. We're talking about total factor productivity. Must be as low as possible to compare. But to do that, when the response time, the response time in terms of say like the delivery of those services, the delivery of those technologies, the delivery of innovation of modern practices should actually be real time the right person for that kind of people.
Now, on that note, what is the level of engagement that NARO has with the different stakeholders that you serve, both public and private?
One area we are not preaching year in, year out. We are saying the traditional kind of system will encompass the nexus between research, extension, and farmers. That has been the traditional kind of aspect of that. But then again, we do realize because of actually the challenges within the extension kind of system, we look at government extension, we do realize that actually most of the technology, the innovation that we have, may not be reach our target all as real time. So what that has come up with is what we call actually the multi-stakeholder innovation platforms, whereby we go actually for the aspects of demand articulation where our target clientele will express desires and cause demand. Then we now ask got the appropriate kind of say like techniques of desire. We use that platform to do that. If you're to traverse this country, we have actually quite a number of different actually platforms. For instance, this financial year alone, we are poised to establish close to about 26 of them. But now we haven't passed that number. Most of them are community enterprise kind of place. So that's one aspect. But then again, you're also looking at the aspect of more, let's say, we are going into public-private partnerships. Then how do we link up with the private sector? One key area which I think you've been very strong in it, you do realize actually quite a number of institutes. For instance, the National Crop Research Institute, we do actually crops. And we are looking at various commodities like maize, beans, rice, soybeans, cassava, sweet potato, you name it.
Moving on, and a bit related, by the way, climate change is an issue that everyone is talking about. What is NARO doing in response to this new reality that society is contending with?
When we talk about climate change, I think it's also important to understand the dynamics of what you're talking about. Normally now here, when you're talking about climate change, we had the component of variability, because those are two different things. In Uganda, when we look at a landscape and of course the challenge that we've been having in agriculture here, the most important thing is the issue of water. And when water is there, It's not a big deal, but of course associated problems. So when I look at climate change, I'm looking at the issue of availability. Earlier on I was talking about, you see, when you look at the amount of rainfall in this country, over the last 30 years plus, it has mostly been the same. But then again, when you start having episodes of rainfall, say like in January, February, and again you know that this is not a real time acting because I think it's a mindset kind of problem too. All the response technologies, they're not using the water, but they're waiting for mid-March to do the planting. Definitely, it's now common knowledge that rain may come in March, it rains for a while, and then at the end of the day come around April, May. That's what they call the mid-season drought. That's now when we say, oh, because of climate change is what we're experiencing and so on. But then again, when it rains, say like in January or February, then you get borrowing from the total annual likely rain meant for this kind of country. But because we don't have clear kind of say like recommendations, now we now say yes, let's take advantage of this water. We can go for the short maturity crops like the vegetables, the greens and so on. Then we can also dam the water that's coming up. But then again, look at the timing because it's still a lot of the temperature is quite high. The rate of evapotranspiration may not contain this kind of water. So the most important thing is what has now done. First of all, we do realize when you're talking about because of these changes in temperature, changes in water kind of availability, also there's certain kind of disease pressures that are also now coming up. You have heard about the coffee mill disease. You've been talking in coffee. You've been talking about cassava brown streak disease in cassava. They talk about even the maize kind of diseases. But now you're saying how best can respond to this. First of all, if you can actually come up with products, you've heard about the water efficient actually maize for Africa, the Wema maize and so on. But these are aspects whereby we think if you can have these varieties in place, we can most likely mitigate against climate change. And then again, we have to also look at the aspects of post-service handling and storage. They are saying whatever you have harvested in the periods of dearth, where you don't have this kind of crop, as long as you can have a store and protect that in storage for some bit of time, that's actually a good response to the mechanism and so on.
Thank you very much, Doctor. It's been nice talking to you.